So it's that time again. It's finally launch day. Um, so I wanted to do a not so quick video talking about three of the top points I think that are kind of pre that are kind of need to be kind of discussed a little bit more just as a precursor to the launch later on today. Um, so basically, it's finally time for Link to save Zelda and by extension the world of Hyrule again. Hopefully, after these many decades, there will be no one calling Zelda, calling Link Zelda. um, so, with the recent interviews with the developers that was posted up by the Nintendo team, it's on their website, so everyone can go there and watch. Many new revelations, or rather, I would call them confirmations, have been making the rounds. The main one of which is that dungeons are confirmed to be in the game. And I say that in that way for multiple reasons. Because really and truly, for me, this was the main selling point for Tears of the Kingdom. Especially since I never really finished Breath of the Wild, as it felt more like something was missing. Now, granted, if we carefully read the article, the developers still consider what we got as shrines in Breath of the Wild as dungeons. Though many, such as myself, probably felt that they were something entirely different. Happily, though, the developers noted that dungeons have changed from the previous game. So now it's for us to explore and identify just how much of the how much the actual trailers gave away in terms of what the dungeon scenes, as previously theorized by many. Um, the second point was actually a precursor to this point of dungeon improvement made by the developers, and that was a stark reminder many seemingly failed to remember, which was Breath of the Wild was actually developed for the Wii U and simply ported over and enhanced for the Switch. Um, the real sentiment, I would say, is that this is the true Zelda game for the Switch system. And this allowed the developers far more freedom and resources to not just expand and connect the world from sky to underground, as I said in the interview, but reportedly push the Switch to its limits, especially since a new hardware revision is reportedly more than a year out now. Granted, we were expecting the new hardware with the second Pokemon DLC next March, reportedly, but let's not digress. The third and final point is for me basically this whole hot debate of whether or not this title, with its price increased and the lofty shadow cost cast by the predecessor, um, which is the highest selling Zelda game of all time, um, if Tears of the Kingdom can actually surpass the sales expectations for their sales expectations that were kind of set because of how great Breath of the Wild did. Personally, for me, the answer would be no. Um, as much as I would love for Breath of the Wild to meet and hit every target, and again, this is probably far too early. We won't know the real answer to that question for probably a year or two. But mainly for me, my answer would be no because this is in fact a sequel. There is seemingly no entry level for anyone to say that you can play Tears of the Kingdom without knowing anything about the previous title, Breath of the Wild. Now, I didn't play like all of the side DLC or anything to that degree, or even like Hyrule Warriors, which gave the backstory of Breath of the Wild and the new world we're living in. But at the same time, you can clearly still enjoy the game if you are a newcomer and you're jumping into Tears of the Kingdom for the first time. Um, but at the same time, it kind of limit your enjoyment. It might limit your full understanding and enjoyment of the game, especially if you're playing in the same era, same space as others who did in fact play the previous game, Breath of the Wild. Now, the game, in fact, could do a recap to kind of cover the prior events. Many games do this when it's a sequel, to kind of say, hey, you don't have to play the previous games to kind of enjoy this game. You can just jump right in. Now, to be perfectly honest, I do expect Tears of the Kingdom to do this, and I haven't seen anything to suggest otherwise. But at the end of the day, this is just a game to capitalize on the existing adapters for that took up Breath of the Wild. And historically speaking, sequels tend to underperform in comparison to their predecessors. However, Zelda is a very, very big and underrated and underexplored title. And again, it is Breath of the Wild is the highest selling Zelda game. So who knows? Tears of the Kingdom could be the first to break the mold. We'll just have to wait and see. I also believe that the $70 price tag, which happily I was able to use my gold coins on the eShop to bring it down to about $63. So for those persons who are listening and you're just buying digital games and you have those gold coins, and even for those who buy the physical games, just remember to redeem your gold coins by entering the code in your Nintendo eShop within, I think it's 6 to 12 months now, so you can then get a quote-unquote discount. I didn't went to get the voucher so I could download. A friend of mine got the voucher so he could pre-download this game and others. I regret not pre-ordering the game before it reached the $70 price tag, because I do believe some did that, and retailers like Amazon are matching the $60 price. Because I knew I was going to play this game, that's for sure. I bought the Switch and Zelda together during launch year, so I knew I was going to play this game on launch day. So those are some of the things I probably think about. But happily, I got it for under the $70. Hopefully, it's the same for many. At the end of the day, while I do appreciate the fact that this game was made for the Switch, I still don't believe it's fully worth. It's truly, to me, a $70 game, quote unquote. But I mean, I'm gonna enjoy the game from top to bottom. I'm really, really looking forward to playing this game and actually finishing it. But in the end, the dollar figure, I do think, will have an impact on the financial. I mean, like, if you raise the price for the game, clearly you anticipate that you're gonna make a little bit more money. So that should be an expectation there. But that actually needs to overstep the actual reduction in the sales numbers, because again, I do believe the sales numbers will go down. Alright, so yeah, those are kind of my 3 top points for this pre-launch of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Improvement to dungeons, enhanced development with the full prowess of the Switch, and for me, sequelitis, which will affect the chances of Tears of the Kingdom surpassing the sales targets from its predecessor. Feel free to also like, subscribe, share, comment on the good, the bad, while staying away from the ugly. And let's enjoy this launch. I'll be looking forward to kind of watching the Treehouse live event this evening. It starts exactly as I finish my normal 9 to 5, so I'll be jumping in and probably be doing an all-night to kind of just take a just move around, enjoy the area, and then I'll basically be skipping out a lot of the traversing and just trying to get straight through the story of the game. I have that knack, and I think that's what Breath of the Wild did for me. When you want to go to from point A to point B, you get sidetracked, like I'm doing now at the end of this video. You kind of get sidetracked because the world is so immersive and there's so much to do. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm looking forward to the stream, and ciao soon. See you later.